Welcome to Seen and Heard, where everyone should be seen and heard, and our special co-host, Miss Kenniss. Hello.
Greetings, peace, and blessings.
And we are doing a weekend or a week beginning wrap of midterms. And how did it go where you are in your neck of the woods, the midterms? How were the results?
Um, I live in the state of Maryland, and we are proud to boast that we successfully put only the third male of African descent into the governor's mansion, and that
Woo!
is um, soon to be the Honorable Governor Westmore. His lieutenant governor is an Asian female. We also put a male of African descent in the attorney general's seat, although the Republican opposition has refused. Has refused to concede the election,
Really?
even though it was not just a very, very close election with the potential for a runoff. It was a clearly uh, um, soon to be ex Congressperson Anthony Brown clearly won the election. The Republican has dug his heels in and refused to concede. So he has indicated he's going to be investigating, and he's going to be looking for all of the areas where perhaps there were some um, suspicious behavior that took place that caused him to lose the election. And
Mm.
finally, the comptroller is a female. So the top four positions in the state of Maryland are by persons of African descent, persons of color, and a female.
So, what
So
do you
we are,
think of Florida? Like, what do you think of that, of DeSantis?
um, well, I mean, I don't live in the state of Florida, so all I can say is God bless the people who live in Florida, because there are at least two positions I would have thought that folk would have rallied around and put someone in those positions other than the GOBs, the good old boys.
Hmm.
For example, even with the senatorial position, as it stands right now, we still do not have a black female, a person of African descent, not one person of African descent who happens to be a female in the Senate. And that speaks to this country. And I really thought that ex-Congresswoman Val Demings would have been able to pull that off. But for whatever reason, she did not show out well. Um, and the incumbent is back in for, I think this will be his third term, Senator Marco Rubio.
So, how does that? I mean, thought a third term. So, I thought that there were term limits for Congress people, like 2 terms max.
Um, if that's the case, then Nancy Pelosi has stayed way longer than she should ever have stayed.
Right, pickle. I was, but yeah, I thought there was
And
supposed to be term limits though.
Senator Lindsey Graham certainly has stayed longer than he should have stayed. And Senator Mitch McConnell has stayed much longer than he should have stayed. So the only term limit is with the president. President gets 2 terms. However, the other congressional elected officials do not have term limits.
We need some ethics laws installed and enforced as well, because there's some, I believe, there's funny business down there. I mean, I can't say for sure. I say alleged, so nobody will, hear me wrong. I say alleged from what I could see, um, because what I witness is what they always claim the other to be doing, they're doing it.
Again, I don't live there, so all I can say is it's disappointing. If nothing else, I thought Congresswoman Val Demings did extremely well with the debate,
Yep.
and I thought that there would have been greater support behind her. And if nothing else, the recognition and acknowledgement that we do not have not even one person of African descent who happens to be a female in Congress and in a Senate position. So,
Well, we know who to thank for that. The 73 or 78% white women that voted. Um, they that was the exit poll for Georgia, but basically the exit poll all over the country was like white women voted against democracy, pretty much. So the main people that voted to keep democracy was black women and Gen Z and native and some native and Asian voters. So
yep.
we voted to save democracy, and then all the other people, white women included, because I'm not even going to
Well,
say white men because that's expected. But
um,
After Roe v. Wade, we thought they were going to, but they're always Lucy with the football. Charlie Brown, Lucy with the football.
mhm,
Fool me once, twice, but no more, because we're not coming to the rescue like that again.
mm,
Because they always played football, just like Lucy and Charlie Brown.
mm, I hear you.
It's enraging, though. I mean, it's just. I mean, there's nothing we can do about it, but it's just like, don't 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 come to me, don't cry. No, I don't want to see any of those tears. I don't want to see it. I don't want to hear no posts. I don't want to see them. I just don't want to see it because you're not going to act right. You just simply aren't.
Highly possible.
Boy, they put it on thick too last time, trying to throw us for a loop. Which some of them threw some of them for a loop, but not me. Because I was, as soon as the the ruckus died down for Roe v. Wade, because at first they were all shocked. I was watching how they were acting, like after the shock of it died down, and I was like, these ladies coming up in midterm are not gonna vote like they should. From what I was witnessing, I was like, they're gonna do it again. They're not gonna vote like they should. And sure enough, I don't get it.
mm,
I don't get it. I mean, I understand the upholding of white supremacy and all that stuff too, but that's not gonna save them when they end up in a camp too.
mm,
And then Elon Musk is losing his mind. Did you see? I know you're not on Twitter, but have you seen in the news how Elon Musk is losing his?
well, white men with privilege and money can do that.
He's losing his
Because while he loses his mind, he's still making money.
I don't know. He's lost a lot. I mean, he's got some that's keeping, but I'm trying to pull up this. Let me see here. It's supposed to pull up. Oh, he messed up thinking that everybody loved him. That was his first mistake because he's just like Kanye and all them with all the money, P Diddy, all of them. They got yes men and women all around them that do whatever they say. They never tell them
Hmm.
no, and so they are under an illusion. And then when they get in the real world, he thought when he bought Twitter that people were going to treat him like that. No, we don't like you. We didn't like you before you got here. We did not like you. And then so he's really shocked that people don't like him.
Well, perhaps it has more to do with the fact that in about 24 hours, the usage of the N word
That too.
imploded, and obviously, many folk were just waiting for that opportunity to just go, air quotes, buck wild with their freedom to be able to exercise the right to use that word. So I don't think, for me personally, it has anything to do with whether I like him or not. I'm always amazed at the number of people who want to craft something around whether you like somebody or not. It has nothing to do with whether I like him or not. It does have more to do with the fact that he, for whatever reason, did not anticipate what was going to be the beginnings of his ownership with Twitter. And personally, I haven't seen that he's done a whole lot to stem that tide. Maybe he has. I haven't been on Twitter since he purchased Twitter because, again, if you're using the N word,
Mm.
um, without any repercussions, then why would I even want to get on there if, all I'm going to see is the N word from a bunch of hate mongers?
Well, I luckily, like I said, I've got the only time I saw it was when people were retweeting it in news articles. But I have, because I've been there so long, I've got my feed. Luckily, I got adults in my feed, and they are they it's kind of weird. They kind of take it upon themselves to protect their followers and their friends from from being subjected or seeing all that stuff too, because we get news, we get a lot our news from there because the mainstream media doesn't report on a lot of stuff that we're looking up on Twitter. So I mean, I think he was kind of playing chicken with that because some people had tried to warn him, and then of course he fired those people that were trying to warn him what was going to happen, what was going to happen. And so he was just like playing chicken with the idea. No, it's not going to happen. It's not going to really happen. Okay, he's seeing now what's happening, especially with I'm gonna flip this around. What happened with those fake badges? Those companies. He's learning the hard way. He's going to learn the hard way. But like Eli Lilly, which I don't feel sorry for them anyway. But this is one of those fake badges that he allowed people to pay $8 for. And somebody trolled everybody and said we're excited to announce insulin is free now. Okay, what happened shortly after that? Their stocks tanked. I mean, so the real Eli Lilly suffered because Elon doesn't know what he's doing. He has no idea what he's doing, and he won't listen to the people that know what they're doing.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, uh, the poor people who need the insulin
Right.
should have forced him, whether he knew what he was doing or not, should have forced the issue and got free insulin, because between the price of some insulin and the price of the stock of the monopolists who produce the insulin, the only people who are being impacted negatively are poor people and
Right, right.
people with marginal means, and even some of the people who are middle class. They're being impacted because if they don't have access to decent health insurance, then
Then they can't afford the insulin.
they can't afford the insulin. And if they can't afford the insulin, then I don't see the difference between that and some form of mass murder, as far as I'm
Right.
concerned.
Because the insulin actually was supposed to be free. The person that designed insulin designed it to help people. And then Big Pharma got involved. So, like they always do, to mess up everything. So, yeah, that's why I was saying I started off like I don't feel sorry for Eli Lilly, but this is just an example of a billionaire that doesn't know what he's doing. And this is a fake account that affected this very real account, which, like I said, say la vie to their stocks, you know.
Well,
Because poor people should be
maybe
benefit from that.
maybe then from that Eli Lilly will have an epiphany and do the right thing.
No, they won't. Because look at what happened with those people that put out all those opioids and got half the country addicted to opioids. They don't care. They just changed the name of their company and filed bankruptcy. They're evil. I mean, I'm not even gonna say who does that because they're simply evil to the core because they did it.
Yeah. And again, we the people have to stand up, show up, and show off, because same thing with all those people who are cashing in on talcum powder, that baby powder thing.
Oh, now they got cancer. Yeah.
But the only thing they did was they stopped selling it in this country. They still
Hmm.
sell it around the world. They just don't sell it here.
But the thing about it is that the places they sell it in around the world, those places regulate what the ingredients are. So a lot of the ingredients that are in the American product, they're banned in other countries. So other
Hmm.
countries have a better product.
Hmm. Again, we think they're regulated. Who knows whether they're regulated or not?
That's true. Everybody's in everybody's pocket somehow. I mean, big corporation wise, anyway.
That
That
is true.
and political.
And it's a third world country, and I don't mean this with disrespect, but it's a third world country. And do you think corporate America cares about a third world country?
No, because they create third world countries.
They create third world countries and they destroy third world
Hmm.
countries.
Yep. So the rich people here in this country are basically cushioning themselves for the blow that's to come. So they'll be insulated and protected and taken care of, and they have means to escape or means to stay comfortable if they don't leave or whatever, while they're destroying us from the inside out. Because there is no reason that an insurrectionist that attacked our country should be walking around free to incite another insurrection. And
Well,
the highest court of the land is not refuses to hold him accountable. The DOJ is not holding him accountable. And this is worse than a third world country because even in a third world country they hold people accountable.
well, now let's see. Uh, the I guess he's one of the most powerful men of color, and he sits on the Supreme Court.
Ah,
His wife is the brainchild behind all of this. She's the
Right.
one who got all the permits. She's the one who was following it to make sure everything went the way it was supposed to go. He still sits on the Supreme Court, and she still is married to him, and they still go into the same front door and sit down to the same dinner table. So if that's the case, and this is coming up on 2 years, and all that's going to happen is that if indeed the Republicans take control over the House, then those hearings that were being conducted are not going to go forward. So
Mm.
if the Democrats in 2 years were not able to do everything they needed to do and do it with a sense of urgency, then I'm sorry to say this, but those people who are walking around free, I would walk around free too if I could, because the Democrats had from January 7th, 2021 until December 31st, 2022 to do everything they needed to do in order to deliver to the people a message that says that they recognize why they're elected, why they're in positions on Capitol Hill, and what they need to do to be able to come back to the people and to say to them, see, look at all the things that we did, just only with the insurgencies and those people who in another time would have been considered as conducting treason.
Well,
and
you know what
and
made me know that they
the
weren't going to do that? Because they went to work with these people that attacked them at okay, the same people that attacked our Capitol, the Congress people that attacked and helped plan it. The Democrats went to work with these people like no big deal, like still calling them friends across the aisle, which I don't understand. How are you going to call somebody a friend across the aisle and they just tried to have their supporters kill you? That was a sign of weakness to me.
I think that's where I was trying to get to.
What they did or didn't do.
So let's see how this plays out when the Republicans take over in January for the next 2 years. They have already said, whether it's true or not, their goal is to put Hunter Biden in prison for life. I'm not even sure what the boy's going to prison for, but whatever it is, the Republicans they're like leeches. They have leached onto something and they are not going to let it go. So,
It's like
if that,
Benghazi.
excuse me,
Like Benghazi.
well, Hunter Biden wasn't in Benghazi, was he?
No, no, no. I was saying it was like, remember the Republicans were
Oh,
crying about
yeah,
Benghazi all the time?
yeah. So whatever Hunter Biden did, if that's all you all have and you're going to waste two years while the people still are their plight has not changed and will not change, and all you can do is be like, little kids on the playground. If you do this to me, then I'm going to do that to you. If you do that to me, then I have to do something else to you. And here we are, the people who have been asked to deliver up so that you can continue to do what? I'm not even sure, because you certainly aren't doing anything that benefits the people. And as far as the 73% of white women who vote to do whatever they do, it's not surprising, because I think 55% of these same women voted to put Donald Trump into office, even though if you challenged any one of them, they would say, well, it wasn't me. Well, if it's not you, then who is it? Because 55% of you did vote to put him in office. So if you did that, then fess up. Nobody cares. Just go on and fess up. And now we're talking about 18% increase from 55% to 73% who now have voted to put uh, folk in office who don't have the skill set, nor do they even have the interest of the people at hand. For example, uh, in another state where there is a Senate person running who clearly has no skills and actually really doesn't even know how to tell the truth about himself, let alone anyone else. There are people who said they don't care as long as that seat is filled by a Republican. The person can be inexperienced, can be a liar, can write checks for abortions, do whatever, as long as that person wins and is sitting in that seat. What have we come to as far as this country is concerned?
Please, anybody out there listening in Georgia, please do the right thing. Get your peeps. But segueing into what you said, I want to play this clip of a woman that she has. This is a message to her friends, which basically she was telling her friends, her palm colored friends, to stop doing this to black women. This was like the day after the election, so I'm going to play a short clip. And so it's gonna take people like her, like what the question that you were just asking about the white women that voted. This is her message. I'm gonna play. So let me pull this up. Uh, Here's a message from a fellow palm colored lady to her sisters in arms. Let's see. Here we go. All right.
I've been seeing comments like this all over TikTok, especially on Black women's videos today. I want to implore my fellow white women to stop doing this. Marginalized people don't need to hear that a few white women didn't vote like an idiot. Because just like how it's all men until it's no men, it's all white women until it's no white women. Your attempt at virtue signaling here just tells people that you aren't doing the work to talk to your fellow white women about why they continue to vote against their best interests. We have to claim those white women before we can actually make a difference with them. Just a quick addition before I take a nap. When you comment things like this under Black women's videos, you're not doing it for their sake. You're doing it for your ego.
That's right, and we don't want to hear it.
I've been so
We don't want to hear it anymore. We're not falling for the Lucy and the football. Y'all need to talk amongst yourselves at your family dinners during the holidays. I don't know how that's gonna go, but that's on y'all because we don't have access, and we're at this point we don't want access because we're trying to save democracy and be adults. We don't have time for that babysitting grown up people. The no right from wrong. I know I for one am fed up with it. And I'm gonna remind them every chance I get, even the Latinos, the I'm not saying all Latinos, the ones I'm talking about are the ones that voted for fascism.
Well, this is a country where you are able to exercise your right to vote as you see fit,
Mm.
unless, of course, you are a person of African descent. And every couple of years, we have to go back, fall on our hands, and beg old master to let us vote again.
Mm. And then we got the likes of they're trying to support Walker because he's just gonna roll over and they're gonna tell him what to do while he's sitting in the seat, keeping the seat warm. He's just a he's what they call well, he's one of those what they have during the award shows, the people that just sit warm the seat, sit in the seat, a seat filler.
Yep. But he could be sitting in that seat for many terms,
Mm.
pulling down $200,000 a year.
So, what do you think the chances are that he won't get that seat? What do you think, for what you've observed?
Um,
Could be 50-50, maybe.
it's neck and neck. um, I am sad that in 2 years, excuse me, I'm sad that in 2 years, Senator Warnock took the position that his legislative agenda would be one of uh, public policies for all people. And
Mm.
therefore, Senator Warnock refused to support reparations for the 400 years of pernicious history that this country has imposed upon his people, people of African descent, and current day vestiges. That is very distressing to me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I am saddened because not only has he taken that position, but neither senator for the great state of Georgia is a co-sponsor for the pending legislation to stand up a commission. This has nothing to do with reparations, and we have to be smarter. All that's being asked is stand up a commission. This country stands up commissions all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Are there moon rocks on Jupiter? I don't know. Let's stand up a commission. Are there red ants on the beach? I don't know. Let's stand up a commission. Is there some sort of a fish that has one blue eye and one purple eye swimming around in the Atlantic Ocean? I don't know. Let's stand up a commission. So they stand up commissions for the most ridiculous, ludicrous stuff, but for a commission that just is out there to study the allegations that uh, exist about how this country was founded and on whose backs this country was founded and what needs to happen. For example, 256 years of forced free labor. The average person won't work and get a paycheck that's short 256 minutes. They're not even going to be satisfied until they get their 256 minutes. Nobody wants to work and not be paid. So,
Right.
how is it that we can say, well, it was okay because they were just shadow property? It was okay because they weren't really citizens. It is okay because they were nothing but animals anyway. Um, and why did they deserve to be paid? We deserved to be paid because you stole us, you sold us, you worked us, and you owe us. And Senator Warnock has not
Right.
come on board as a co-sponsor for the pending legislation. I'm sure he believes with all his heart that it will ruin his chances of winning his seat. But maybe it won't ruin his chances because a lot of people I know in Georgia are working for reparations. And if we're all working for
Mm-hmm.
reparations, then Senator Warnock, maybe what you need to do is put some feelers out and find out, how many people who may
You know
not
the
have
money that white people
voted,
made from
Oh,
slavery? You ever wonder?
who may not have voted,
right. I'm sorry.
would have voted no if they knew that he supported reparations. And from your question, neither candidate supports reparations. So some folk may be in a situation where they need to figure out uh, um, what the real difference is, what comes to the table with either candidate. I mean, Senator Warnock is a Democrat, and the other person is a quasi Republican.
Mm-hmm.
So what are the people getting? Yes, Senator Warnock will, march down the middle of the road. However, 256 years of forced free labor still remains on the table. 100 years of Jim Crow, KKK, terrorism, and lynching still is on the table. And all of that must be looked at with the intent to craft remedies to repair the harms that people of African descent still have and still harbor because of the 400 years that we have endured. And Senator Warnock would be,
He the youth are on it. I'm going to play this video from this young lady here, and the youth are on it, and they are not playing. I mean, they understand democracy and all, and they came out to vote, but they are what you were talking about with the reparations. They're on it as well.
You know all the money that white people made from slave labor? You ever wonder where'd all that money go? Enslavers weren't the only ones making money off of human trafficking. So did insurance companies. In the same way that businesses today insure computer equipment, we see human traffickers insuring enslaved people as an early form of industrial risk management. Between 1846 and 1848, New York Life Insurance, when it went by the name Nautilus Insurance Company, issued its first 1,000 life insurance policies, 339 of which were on the lives of enslaved people. And they weren't alone. Aetna and AIG did it too. White folks figured out a way to not only profit off of free black labor while they were alive, but also in their deaths. The profits from premiums helped to build the company that we now know as New York Life Insurance. Dividends on those mutual life insurance policies went to policyholders. So if your family held a policy during that time, that means that they benefited from slave labor, even if they didn't enslave anyone themselves. You know all the money that white people made from slave labor? You ever wonder?
See? And there are a lot more where that came from. They're going to, since they voted this time to keep our democracy, it's going to be up to them. I've seen a swell of these young people questioning reparations more and more, and they're doing their homework. They're pulling up receipts and doing their homework. So
good for them. I'm glad to see that they're picking up the banner and pursuant to what she's talking about. And no, it did not happen in this country, but the United States was in the middle of it. The repayment, the reparations that went to France from Haiti. There were 8,000 enslavers that this money went to over 125 years. So the question that I've had for a very long time was, did those 8,000 enslavers live for 125 years so they got all those payments? And we know the answer is no. They did not live for 125 years to get all those payments. So what happened, as a young lady said, what happened to the money? Where did it go? The money kept coming, and as the enslavers died, it went to their descendants. And if those descendants died, it went to next line down descendants. But yet and still, you would look me in my face, United States, because you were caught up in the middle of what was going on between Haiti and France. You would look me into my face and tell me that there is no way we can get reparations for something that happened 100 or so years back. But yet and still, it was okay for France to continue, after the last of the 8,000 enslavers died, to continue to receive those payments and funnel them down to the descendants and the descendants of the descendants. I recently read an article that said some of the folk who live in France who are of means have no idea where their money came from, where their wealth came from. And their wealth came from the reparations that Haiti paid France for their freedom. How can you have wealth and not ever even wonder where it came from? That is ludicrous. It is just egregious. It is ludicrous. And I would like to think that at some point somebody will put some fire under that issue and make it a big issue so that those people in France who are enjoying
Mhm.
their wealth will come to either realize where it came from or be inspired to do some genealogical ancestral type research and discover where it came from.
There were some people that were bringing it up when the queen died, because like when the queen died, I knew of some of our history of colonialism, colonization, the UK, and then like the islands, the Caribbean islands, those places. But I was learning about the Irish and what the queen and the monarchy did to them, as well as, I mean, I knew about Haiti and the French forcing them to pay reparations to the slave owners or the colonizers. But I didn't know that those French people didn't know, like what you were saying, they didn't know. But it was all being brought up when the queen died. So everybody that was affected by the monarchy were bringing up receipts. So
Well,
hopefully,
yeah,
like,
but now that the queen is gone and for 2 or 3 days, you're right. That was the topic of discussion.
mhm.
I have not heard King Charles say
No,
anything.
no, of course
I
not.
have not heard the home wrecker, Queen Consort
Right.
Camilla, say anything.
Right. You're right.
I have not heard the young people who were so upset when Harry and Meghan uh, went public with their assessment of what's going on uh, inside Buckingham Palace. Uh, I have not heard them say, well, here's what we are going to do
Nope.
to correct and to rectify some of these situations. And when it was a big old topic for discussion, the queen was gone, and
Mhm.
any one of them or all four of them could have raised those topics to the next level and said, this is what we are looking to do, this is what we are going to be working on. Now, yesterday I read an interesting article that I think her name is Charlotte, Princess Charlotte,
Mm.
the daughter to the next king and queen. She has 13 staff members working for her. What does somebody who's about 7 or 8 years old need 13 staff people for? I really, really did not fact check it, but I hope somebody who's looking at this will fact check it and come back and tell me it was just fake news. I would be happy to hear that it is fake news because
More
it is
likely. Yeah. No,
it's
probably not.
distressing. It's distressing to hear that some little girl who is what, 8, 9 years
Oh,
old,
you're talking about Kate and William. I mean, yeah, Kate and
and
William's little
William's
girl.
daughter,
Yeah,
Princess,
yeah. I
little
saw that
Princess,
article. Yeah, yeah.
that she
You
has
know, it's
13
not fake
staff
news.
members.
It's not fake news because
How,
I saw
how in
that
the
too.
world how in the world do you get to have 13 staff members and you're still doing to those countries that you colonized, you are still holding them in a chokehold so that they cannot move forward. They don't have the ability to just go ahead and declare that they are sovereign countries or sovereign islands or whatever they want to declare themselves, and yet and still you are mad at Harry and Meghan.
Right. They're worried about her wearing pants that aren't tight fitting.
Well,
Like,
she's no longer in the royal line, and she
mm-mm.
can do whatever she wants to do. So for me, I'm still upset that in France we have people of means who have no idea potentially where their wealth came from. They just know they inherited it from the ancestors. It's been passed
Like
down
it just fell out of
intergenerationally.
the air. It just fell out of the air.
Intergenerational wealth. Yet and still, here we are, not able to get anything so that we can begin to start to have intergenerational wealth that we can pass on to our descendants.
Mhm.
So I hope
Yeah.
the young people keep on pushing.
Hopefully in our lifetime. I I for one, I am like I said, since you're my mentor, I am a permanent pain in their side because I'm not gonna stop. I'm going and I am uh, attending every virtual group. I attended the Suru for Solidarity. They had a meeting today, virtual meeting today for to meet. It was like a meet the group, and then we had we went off in the different rooms, and then came back. So they're going to do another reparation meeting at the end of this month. It's at the end of this month. The end of this month and the beginning of next month. So they're going to do those meetings up until January because they're trying to get the HR 40 bill to Biden and Harris too.
Mhm. Who is this?
The Suru for Solidarity. That's a Japanese American group.
Never heard of them.
Suru for Solidarity. Yeah, I'll send you their link. But yeah, they've been working on this too. Suru for Solidarity. The what's her name? The Japanese lady that was with the Black Panthers in the 60s. Her granddaughter's in this group too.
Cool beans. I'd like to see their link.
Okay. Yeah, I'll send that to you at the end of our show. But yeah, I joined with them like right around the time I met you. As it's been 2 years now. So I joined with them first, and then I found that other group with you, like back to back.
Well, just for those people who don't realize the process, uh, come December 31st, the 217 co-sponsors that exist on HR 40 today will all go away. The clock will be reset, and the process starts all over again. So if there are 180, 185, whatever the final count is, of Democrats in the House come January 1st, the first thing that's obvious is there's no way we can get 217 co-sponsors. The second thing that's obvious is even with the 217, there were still about 3 or 4 holdouts, Democratic holdouts. So if it's 185 Dems in the House come January and there are 5 holdouts, then the biggest number we could expect to get would be 180 co-sponsors, Democratic co-sponsors. Then if that's the case, and on the across the aisle, there are 200 200 plus Republicans, then HR 40 is not going to go anywhere. And that means that HR 40 won't go anywhere for 2 years, but then depending upon who goes in the White House, HR 40 might not go anywhere for 4 more years. So we're talking about 6 years that HR 40 will just be introduced, and there isn't going to be a lot of good progress made on getting a commission stood up. This is not for reparations. This is to stand up a commission to study the 400 plus years of pernicious history, as I said before. And those people on the other side keep saying, well, you're trying to get a check. Nobody's trying to get a check. What we're saying is go off and study this and come back with remedies. And of course, we all would expect that as a part of the remedies, that there will be a check. But reparations is more than just a check. You have harmed us for 400 plus years, and you must repair the damage. You must repair the harms that you have created in us. So, if that's the case, we may be waiting, working, but waiting 600 years to get a 6 years. Sorry, woo. We may be waiting 6 years to get another foothold so that we can try and move forward with trying to get this commission stood up. So,
So who do we lobby, and how do we still keep pushing forward? What I've got the ticker on here, the White House number on here. So what else
well,
do we
that
need to
that
do?
that is indeed our best chance. Our best chance is to try and make so much noise to Biden, because here's how I see it. This is an IMO, in my opinion. Uh, if we lost the House, the Democratic majority in the House, then what does Biden have to lose by going ahead and doing an executive order? He doesn't have
Right.
anything to lose. Just go ahead and do the executive order, and do it before December 31st so that we have 24 months in order to be able to finish the commission's work. But it's not just to finish the commission's work. We also need him now to include that we need more time. So, on top of those 24 months to stand up the commission and do the commission's work, there has to be some insulation in there so that it can be implemented. You can't just come back and say, okay, here are recommendations, and there's nobody to take those recommendations and to follow them through the process and make sure that what needs to happen in order for them to become implemented and effective um, has to happen. And that's what's going to happen with California, AB 3121. They have until June to submit their final report. But when they submit the final report, nothing was done to assure that there would be oversight over that report, and that, it actually became a living document where things were being done from their recommendations. And while there was an effort to try and do that, the opposition to that actually was louder, and the governor vetoed the effort to have a year so that this task force could go ahead and oversee implementation. So when the report is finalized and submitted in June of 2023, there is nothing out there to be able to oversee any implementation. And I'm really confused as to how the opposition actually was able to pull that off. And in so doing, um, you know, I don't know where it goes, because it then just is a report that's hanging out there, and there is no nothing in place to implement the suggestions from that report. And that's a lesson learned. So you don't want that to be the same case with the commission at the federal level.
Right.
So it has to be the president. Gonna have to like just ride him like a mechanical bull and force him to go ahead and do an executive order. 202-456-1111. Gotta call him
Well,
every day.
call the White House. That's the White House's number. 202-456-1111. That's how we're going to get it, youngsters. We have faith in you, youngsters.
Well, come up with a way so that when you don't have to like dial him every time, come up with a application where you can just do a massive blast. You can just blast him, and in so doing, every time you blast him, you know, maybe you're sending something that represents 500 calls or 500 requests, something where it's not just you making the call and nobody else. We have to come up with a way to multiply the requests. And I'm sure that some young person out there, if you haven't already done it, you're in the process of doing it. Develop an application where it becomes like an email blast, but it's a phone blast.
Mm.
And just wear the White House out. Jam their switchboard, jam their call lines, and just bring them to their knees, shut them down.
Tell them about those ladies in, was it in Louisiana, the elderly ladies, how they worked call their call in the White House.
Oh, there's a community of folk in Louisiana in St. Mary's Parish. So when they call the White House, they jam up somebody's house. They go from house to house. And when they're ready to call the White House, they all get in the room and somebody calls the White House. Someone answers the phone and they tell the person who answers the phone why they're calling because they want President Biden to do the right thing and pass the bill for reparations. And in the background, you may have 30, 40 people all hollering, "We want reparations. Tell Biden to give us our reparations." Hey, hey, whatever works.
I mean, really, what do I have to do? What else to do? You know, I just
Whatever
think that's
works.
cute. I love that story.
Whatever works.
That's funny.
Yep. So
I
that's how they convey the message, and the person taking the call must be able to say, "I don't know how many people were in the background, but I heard a lot of people in the background, and they were all saying the same thing, Mr. President."
That's funny. That's
So that's the kind
so
of thing
cute.
that an app of some sort would be perfect. Just come up with a way so that just like email blast, you can just do a phone blast and just let it out, 4 or 5 times a day. And it could be the equivalent of 500, 1,000, 2,000 calls 5 times a day. That's like 10,000 calls. And that's what will make a difference, because if you call and I
Mhm.
call, they don't care. But they do care if their
Right.
switchboard is getting hit every day with, 500, 1,000, 2,000 calls. That's a loud message. And that's what we have to have. So young people, if you're out there listening, come up with an application that does it.
We have faith in you. We know you can. It, like she said, somebody's out there already doing it.
Hmm. I know you are. So just pass it around. And you can test it out on the White House. Say, I don't know how good this works, but I'm going to share it with you. Test it on the White House. Have it tested. Put program in 202-456-1111 and pass it around. Go on social media. Have all your followers and your networks take your application and test it.
That's our call to action. And we are going to close out with that because we're going to do another show this week after we get time to do that. But we've gone into an hour, so that's our call to action. So call the White House again, 202-456-1111. And if you like this show, our broadcast, you're can see here my Cash App, SPH Cash App. Feel free to donate to help support the program and the programming. And I'm going to close this out here. Hold on a second. I got to pull this up. And thank you, Miss Kenniss. Thank you, Miss Kenniss. Thank you for joining us.
A pleasure. My pleasure.
Okay, I'm going to, let's see, I keep hitting that wrong button. Here we go. There.
I'm gone.
Are you leaving?
I was thinking about it.
I'm trying to pull up this. Hold on. This is our preview. Okay, okay. Bye, everybody. I'm going to play my outros, and you can close your camera if you want. I'm going to play the outros. Bye, Miss Kenniss. Thank you.
Peace and blessings,
Thank,
everyone.
thank you, listeners.
We'd like to hear from you. If you'd like to leave feedback, a comment, or ask a question, leave us a voicemail at 615-447-8290. Thank you. We'd like to hear from you. If you'd like to leave feedback, a comment, or ask a question, leave us a voicemail at 615-447-8290. Thank you. City Scene Productions / Media Company and Seen and Heard podcast are peer supported. All support is greatly appreciated, whether it is equipment or financial. Every little bit helps. Every contribution, however big or small, powers our programming, staff, and creators, and sustains our future. Any amount you are able to give to help support our journey and progress will be greatly appreciated. If you would like more info, please go to our contact page to leave a message, and one of the members of our team will get back to you as soon as possible.